So Shedeur Sanders, after proving the naysayers wrong, not getting a fair chance to compete for the starting job, and Shilo, after getting into a fight, get ejected out the game, then getting waived by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's talk about it. This your boy Greg, one half of the co-pilots, man. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. For me, man, I hate to use the word that the NFL is trying to sabotage these kids' career, but basically when you see what's going on, what took place Sunday, it seems like it's a lot of bias going on. And it don't seem it is. You get what I'm saying? It's clear as day that is bias going on towards Shilo and Shedeur. We seen it coming into the draft. As a matter of fact, we seen it in college. You know, some of the stuff they used to say about these kids, and it's followed them to the NFL. And so, what we see now, man, you had a kid, man, that should have been drafted in the first round that wasn't taken into the fifth round. And then, you had people come up with their explanation saying that they didn't think he was a first round grade. So now when, fast forward, when he got the opportunity to prove himself, and let's be clear, the only reason why Shedeur got the chance to prove himself was because the other quarterbacks got hurt on the roster. You get what I'm saying? Um, if Dylan Gabriel or Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett, none of these guys got hurt, Shedeur Sanders wouldn't have never had the chance to start and prove himself. He would have never had the chance to prove the naysayers wrong. So now, fast forward, when he got the chance, he proved, those guys wrong, that he's able to start in the National Football League. Not only that he should have been drafted in the first round. Moving forward, he wasn't given another shot after that. You get what I'm saying? Week 2 he was hurt. He had I forgot the injury. I think it was an oblique injury. He was hurt. But then going into the third game, you get what I'm saying? Um, all the reps went to Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, you know. And even before that, he was, the number 3 quarterback on the depth chart after outplaying Dylan Gabriel. Let's be clear, both of these guys played good, but at the same time, if we being honest, he outplayed him. 2 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. You know, Dylan Gabriel, on the other hand, 2 turnovers, 0 touchdowns. But at the same time, when it came to the third game, we know that, when you're looking at the future of the team, that Joe Flacco is not going to be the future of this team. We know that when you're looking at the future of this team, you're looking at 2 guys, and that's Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And so we know that both of these guys should have been the 2 guys that's competing with most of the reps in the final preseason game, because you want to know that who's going to be the guy that's going to take over for this team once Joe Flacco's gone. But in spite of everything that took place Sunday, man, I still got to give Shedeur Sanders a W. And for this reason right here, this is one of the things that's not being talked about. How Shedeur Sanders handled himself, man, in the post-game interview. The things he said, how he conducted himself. I think Shedeur Sanders dealt with the situation like a true professional. You get what I'm saying? He didn't throw no shots at nobody. He didn't throw no shade on nobody or his team or his teammates. He handled the situation like a true professional, man. And I give him a lot of points for that. I give him a lot of credit for that. You get what I'm saying? So, and I think that at the end of the day, man, you have to give him a W for this right here. In spite of everything that's being said about him, you know what I'm saying? About, he's being a selfish guy. He's a me player. You get what I'm saying? He dealt with that situation like this here. He pretty much gave credit to everybody on that team. He said everybody on this team pretty much feel like they deserve a chance. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, I feel like I deserve a chance as well. So I like how he dealt with that situation. You get what I'm saying? And I think that in the future, a lot of teams going to look at that. You get what I'm saying? So in spite of everything that what people try to throw at them, the shade that people try to throw at them, you look at everything that's going on the surface, it's pretty much showing that, man, this dude, man, it's not a me player. It's not a me first type of person. You get what I'm saying? And I think it's the same what we saw in college already. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, man, you have to take your biased opinion out of this. You get what I'm saying? And look at it, man, for what it is, man. You get what I'm saying? And like I say, man, I think that one of the things I'm glad he also didn't do, and I hope he don't do, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people hinted at this, is that he should get traded. yes, I think he should get traded, but I don't think that he should be the one to call out for a trade. Because if he do, in spite of what we saw in the interview, he's going to be looked at as a me first type of dude. You get what I'm saying? Now, would I want to get traded from Shedeur Sanders if I'm not? Yes, if I'm not getting a fair chance in Cleveland, yes, I'm going to want to trade. But at the same time, let ownership and let the other teams decide that, because at the same time your talent going to show for itself. You get what I'm saying? And just like, the opportunity presented itself for you to prove prove the naysayers wrong about you, you also going to get that chance again. This is the National Football League. You get what I'm saying? He's going to get a shot to be a starter. It may not come this year. It may come this year. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's going to get the opportunity to play again. You get what I'm saying? And if he continue to approach the situation with the right attitude, you get what I'm saying, like he's been doing, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, the future's going to look bright for him. And then we look at, man, with his brother Shiloh. We seen yesterday, man. We seen in the game with Shiloh, he got ejected for fighting. Now we know that it's not uncommon for, you know, when you get into a scuffle to get ejected from the game. But to have only one guy ejected, you know what I'm saying, ejected from the game, man, I feel that was kind of like pretty biased, they was pretty biased in that situation. And then especially when it shows that the other guy was the aggressive in this situation. You get what I'm saying? You know, when you breaking down the film, it looked as more that Shiloh really was defending himself. You know, now we know that, even with that, you're going to get ejected from the game. But at the same time, to only have one guy get ejected and the guy that was defending himself, it shows a lot of bias by the NFL and the refs in this situation. But like I say, man, same situation, man. I seen similar with Cam Newton, man. When I look at what's going on with Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh, it's pretty much the same when I see with Cam Newton. Cam Newton demise in the NFL was orchestrated. You know, I done said it before and I say it again. And I stand behind that. Cam Newton coming off his MVP season, you get what I'm saying? He was constantly getting targeted, helmet to helmet, and this was a rule that was just implemented. You know what I'm saying? This rule was still fresh in the league. So this was watched highly, you get what I'm saying, to avoid concussions and things of that nature. And we seen week after week, Cam was constantly getting helmet to helmet, and there was no flags, nothing, no players getting ejected or nothing from these games because of that, and it went for as this Cam had to go to the refs and go to the league to have a meeting to say, man, what's going on with this, man? Why is this constantly happening? Nothing's being done, and I'm constantly getting hit out here. You get what I'm saying? If this same thing would have happened to quarterbacks like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, so on and so on, man, you would have seen constantly defensive players getting ejected from games and getting suspended and getting fined. But nothing was done when this happened to Cam Newton, you know. And so, like I say, man, Cam Newton career was sabotaged by the NFL. And it seemed like this is the same thing that's going on with Shedeur and Shiloh. It's just that this happening early. So, man, man, y'all just tell me what y'all think, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. This your boy Greg, one half of the co-pilots, man. I'm out.